So I hope you have 2-3 more questions and some answers for the previous questions. And George.
Yes, thank you. Probably don't need the mic, you can hear me, right? My mother used to tell me I always talk too loud, so I'll put it today.
Unfortunately, you
have to record, huh?
Yeah, yes, we stream.
Right? Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much. First of all, it's my first time here, so I would like to thank EU OSHA and all the participants facilitating this presentation. And in spite of the fact that we have not whatsoever any contact between us, I think you will find a lot of common things in my presentation as well. Okay, I'm going to set a little bit broader framework, discuss about culture in general, and related to WASH education. I come from such a family. My father, my mother used to own a foreign language school, so I was brought up in this kind of environment. In spite of the fact that I'm a mechanical engineer, actually I'm an industrial mechanical engineer, and actually I come here as a representative of the European Federation of National Maintenance Society. Well, you see it there, okay? Okay, so, well, it has a mind of its own. And I'm the chairman of the Health and Safety Committee. Of course, we have other committees like Asset Management Committee, etc., etc., etc. And I'm going to discuss about the strategy and give you an example, a practice which is under development right now. Now, I'm starting with the old-fashioned way we use in our dissertations, like when you write an abstract, you say why, what, so what. So why do we do this? Why do we need a strategy? So in management, this is a bad word. We don't have problems, we don't have issues. What do we have? Challenges, right? Yes, okay, what are the challenges? If you read the strategy, which is, by the way, an excellent document, you will see this curve. Oops, this one. Okay, and it resembles the Bradley curve, the Dupont-Bradley curve. So that brought to mind, okay, accidents are dropping, but are we plateauing? Is there a risk of complacency? So maybe you need something more long-term. And also, as mentioned by SAP, okay, the representative, the world has entered a very challenging era, the VUCA era. Everything is changing. Everything is volatile, ambiguous, uncertain, complex. And we certainly live that. And by the way, I changed my presentation quite a few times. Why? Because I read just 15 days ago another publication by OSHA, this one. So you could read it, just read the summary. It's very, very, very interesting. I'm just pinpointing some things that the researchers found. Look, research on support for securing compliance also needs to account for the effects of change. Okay? So we are all in line, right? And also, to put some things in number, and you know how financials are not thriving now that as we speak, 3.3% of the GDP, okay, go to work-related injuries and diseases. Imagine this huge amount of money being allocated as investments in other, more productive directions. So, the barriers. What are the barriers? Okay, so I'm giving you some tips in order to for your exam afterwards. So, lack of consistent education and training systems within the EU at large. Before coming here, within EFNMS, we had a meeting 2 weeks ago in Helsinki. We tried to put down what are the different educational systems of OSH in Europe in general, and we agreed on one thing. We do not have a consistent educational system of OSH within the EU, okay? And also, for us, it's very interesting because we are very interested in the certification of maintenance people, because we're a maintenance society. Have to do with managers, have to do with engineers, we have to do with technicians. So there is also a lack of an OSHA certification. I took a lot of notes from your presentation. I'm going to study them very hard. And also, we know that I attended a conference in Dresden in 2019 by Becky Bau, that was a finding of the conference. It had to do with digitalization, that the EU has very slow reflexes. So changes are not very easily adopted. So let's see now, we are in a VUCA era with slow political reflexes within the EU. That's a huge barrier, okay? And of course, the fourth, that's my favorite, the lack of an OSH culture integration into the society. We saw that. We lived through this. You know where? During this no-name situation that we lived through. Okay, the result of all this diverse opinions, okay, that we had, the social media influences. All right, now scientists could not do their jobs, all right, because of all these theories, conspiracy theories and everything. So again, this research pinpoints these barriers to a certain extent. Okay, so I found these very, very interesting pinpoints in this document. So what are we looking for? Okay, we need to embed this prevention and preparedness exactly using these kind of tools into the social culture. Okay, from day one of our birth, maybe. Okay, so what do we need? What are the tools? We need leaders, first of all, with competitive intelligence. We need also supporters, and we need involvement. We agree, okay? We haven't discussed before, all right? And what does that mean, involvement? It means that we have to understand in the society the real value of OSH. And we have also to combat complacency and difference, because that's our evil in OSH. I'm 35 years into the industry and going after OSH, after prevention of accidents and incidents, believe me. And these are the vices there, complacency and indifference. Why? Because management doesn't understand the value. It doesn't understand OSH is an investment, it's not an expense. And again, policy pointer. Again, this research showed exactly this thing. We need leadership. So what? What are we trying to achieve? We have to raise social awareness and sensitivity to do what? To achieve extended integration into existing social structures. Well, you could argue, why not future? Well, let's start with the existing ones, okay? And enhance performance. Why? Because in times like the pandemic, we need social cohesion and sustainability. Social cohesion suffered during the pandemic. Okay, we were divided. We were all dying. We were suffering and we were divided. I mean, that's somewhat illogical, isn't it? So we have to activate, and that's a huge responsibility of us, of OSHA, of all us professionals, to activate collective disciplined reflexes during crisis. And crisis is mentioned, in fact, in the new 2021-2027 EU OSHA strategic policy. Very interesting document, again, because sometimes we all professionals, we lose focus. It doesn't matter the way we follow. We may follow different ways, but what are we all trying to achieve? The same thing, this one, to minimize human loss and suffering, aren't we? That's the thing there. But sometimes we lose focus. So we need, first of all, to understand what is culture. Culture means consistency that endures time, endures the environment. Okay? And that means discipline, which comes down to reliability. Okay? Someone who is disciplined, I know discipline is not a nice word nowadays, but nevertheless, it's linked to reliability. So we need a strategy to convert OSH or to embed OSH in our DNA. So that's what culture is all about. Now, I am stealing a little bit from another publication of OSHA. So you understand how important OSHA's publications are, eh? Today's school children, that's also a very recent publication, are tomorrow's workers. That was the publication. So successful. Because we have broadband factors and narrowband factors, that's how I call them, affecting social culture. Eh? So we start and we are in the family. We get some culture from there. School, friends, work, we get the societal education very well pinpointed, okay, by Dr. Baldwin. And then we develop slowly a character. The character, according to the psychologist, is fully developed at the 8th year of our age, very early. And then through our character, we start to have patterns of thinking, thoughts, decisions, and speaking and actions, which behavior that results to our behavior. Now, out of all this, when it comes to workplace OSH, this is all a black box. We don't affect it. We just live through the behaviors. So what's the only thing we can affect? This one. We need to provide continuous stimuli in order to change the behavior, but early enough in order not to be too late. So we have to start from the top. Why? Because we need an automated behavior. We need people to come with culture. You know, I deliver a lot of courses and a lot of classes at each of the universities, companies, you know, and I'm really so bored and tired sometimes saying, starting from A, B, C, D. When it comes to professionals, you have to start from integrals, from differential equations. Not 1 + 1 is 2, because they lack the basic OSHA education, you see? So that's why I'm going to present to you very briefly the 6-pillar approach. What does that mean? This is an old approach, by the way, which we're trying to implement down at the broader scheme, at the social scale. It has 6 pillars. Okay, they, in a sense, they were all mentioned by the previous speakers, all 3 of them. And I'm sure that if the 4th were here, he was going to mention exactly the same thing. And let's see, political commitment. Of course, it all starts from there. And they can inflict a societal total involvement, of course. But that's, look at that. Who's responsible for that? Mainly these guys here. Okay, and this is a process. It's not a step. Well, I could not, present it otherwise, but that's a process. And each pillar serves as a quasi-prerequisite, not full, prerequisite for the next. So everybody has a responsibility, okay, for all these pillars. Central governments or the EU, educational and scientific institutions, EU OSHA, I consider EU OSHA a scientific institution. Local authorities, of course, they couldn't be left out of the game. These are stakeholders, okay? And each of them has a role. Now, where does OSHA stand? There. Very important backbone role in providing, in assisting the involvement of society, providing education through the body of knowledge, and assisting in the learning process. So we, as the European Federation of National Maintenance Society, tried to educate, to create a body of knowledge. For whom, of course? For maintenance people. I don't know if you're familiar with maintenance people. They're all weird type of guys, They know everything. You can't approach them. It's like some construction guys. Of course they know everything. You can't tell them what to do. I'm 30 years into this profession. Okay, so this was very difficult. Not only to provide knowledge, but to provide certification. Oh my God, that's terrible. So we started in 2017 with these documents, okay, framework, and I didn't even know that. I contributed in health and safety. We produced this document. You see here, 130 pages. That's the initial document. Okay, that we need to discuss with the stakeholders. So that's brand new. Okay, it hasn't been issued yet, but it's within the society. All right, now what did we do? All right, we said that we need, first of all, to create and contribute to the body of knowledge. And believe me, we use a lot of this material. So OSHA has a lot of valuable material. That's how we started in 2011. It was the campaign about safe maintenance. And then we started participating and supporting the campaigns. It was so successful for us that we said we need to continue this effort. And we become every new campaign, we become more vividly involved. And that's not enough. Having a manual, we need to communicate it. But even that is not enough, because a magic word came up from all the three previous speakers: implementation. Of course. And in order to do that, each and every one of us has a responsibility. And we as the FNMS are trying now to bridge this one, create the BOK, and at the same time, we cannot wait for the BOK to be completed, to communicate it gradually to our members. We have more than 100,000 members. We're in 24 countries, 24 societies, and each society has about, I don't know how many members, around 500 each on average, and each member is a company with a lot of workers on maintenance. So again, look, this new document presented by OSHA has a similar reference. We have to achieve compliance and better OSHA. Where? In practice, here. But we need also this, the prerequisites. So what did we do? And I'm coming to closing my presentation very quickly. So we got, excuse me, again, come on. Okay, we got the standard, and we try to infiltrate HSE. This is an actual standard now, okay? The maintenance process, okay? And the supporting knowledge framework, look what HSE is everywhere. So why not in society? Okay? So how do I approach it? Consultation with mentors. Of course, we have to locate them first, create a body of knowledge, then educate the educators and train the trainers, because not all of them are suitable. Transfer this body of knowledge to all social levels, and of course, this is a continual process, Improve all the time, improve. So that's what the FNMS did, and that's what the FNMS is doing right now. Hopefully we're going to finish in 2 years, so 7 years just for the maintenance process. Now, we use the resources from OSHA, believe me. But we also need the authorities, the focal points at this stage. And this is an example. We have 75 subjects. This is from our action BOK, okay? And that's where we use the OSHA resources, and we're still going to use more of the resources. They come from the campaigns. Because think, MSDs, for example. Do maintenance personnel suffer from MSDs? Of course they do. Now, the next campaign is Industry 4, digitalization, cognitive economics. Right? The way we think. So this is also very important. So the framework, just to finish, this is the last transparency, with a proposal, right? I'm an engineer, I have to propose something. So this is as a proposal. Of course, I heard that this is, you can convert it to ECTS by dividing by 4 or 5, depending, okay? So I think you're a lot more advanced. I would very much be interested in what happens here, to put it down in my, in my research. But this is not enough. You see, qualification is not enough, because everything changes, especially in engineering, in all levels of science. So we need also certification and specialty dependency certification. We are all engineers, but we cannot be engineers in everything. All right? So that's how I conclude with a proposition. There's something in process and composition. But the most important transparency is the last one. My data. Okay? So, thank you very much.